I just want him to go to jail forever, if possible. He is an egregious violator of the law. I suffer from really bad PTSD now because of this incident. I get scared to go to sleep because I have really bad dreams. I get scared to be alone with certain people because I never know what could happen.
I just want to move forward. I finally have it, and I feel like everything's going to get taken away, but I do accept full responsibility, man. I do.
All right, Mr. Garcia, I want to let you know that I read the entirety of the PSI report. I read the police report, the age of the complainant in this case. That's an issue for the court. You understand? All right. The court will find you guilty, sentence you to.
This man is in court for doing something truly horrific to someone he lived with. I can't spell it out because of platform rules, but it's serious. He tries to lean on sympathy, asking the judge for forgiveness like that alone should change the outcome. Judge Boyd doesn't entertain it. What follows is a tense moment where the reality of sentencing hits him all at once. Let me know what you think should happen in cases like this, and whether the judge handled it the right way. Let's get into it and see how this unfolds.
Court is calling 2022 CR 6930, State of Texas versus Pete Garcia. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Is that done for the state, Your Honor?
Defense?
Daniel De La Garza for the defendant.
And are you Mr. Garcia? You entered a plea on December 5th to count one of guilty. According to the plea bargaining agreement, punishment is to be assessed at a cap of 8 years in the prison. There's a $1,500 fine. The state is opposing your application. They're taking in consideration 2023 CR 8852 and 2023 CR 8851. And there is to be restitution, if any, to the complainants in each of those cause numbers. No contact with the complainant and Chapter 62 compliance. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report, state?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objections?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
All right. Are there any witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
Not from the state, Your Honor.
All right. State you are opposed.
Yes, Your Honor.
You may proceed.
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, the state would just like to begin when looking at the PSI, this individual had cases out of, I believe it's Manatee County, Florida, put on probation for a drug offense, 28 grams to 150 kilograms.
Just 1 second. I'm sorry. Probation?
Yes, Judge.
On this case, I don't have the PSI report in the email.
Judge, my apologies.
That's okay. Thank you. Just give me 2 minutes.
Absolutely.
All right. You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. This individual was placed on probation on 2 different occasions out of Manatee County, Florida, once in 2006 for 28 grams to 150 kilograms of cocaine charge. Also 2007 out of Manatee County, Florida for use of investment proceeds from racketeering. That's 2 separate instances of probation outside of the state of Texas. Within the state, within Barrett County, there was this individual was transferred to TDC and sentenced in 2019 with tampering of a government record. Also 2019, unauthorized use of a motor-propelled vehicle. Again, sentence transferred to TDC on both of those. The victim in the credit card abuse case said in the PSI, quote, "I'm not okay with probation. I want him to do time. I'm sure he will do it to someone else. I don't think probation is the solution. He will do it again. He will do this to someone else." The victim in the fraudulent use or possession of an ID case said, quote, "I'm absolutely not okay with him applying for probation. I just want him to go to jail forever, if possible. He is an egregious violator of the law." So that's with respect to those 2 cases, Your Honor, that were taken into consideration. And the instant case, the indecency with a child by contact, juvenile Jalissa Leone told her mother that Pete Garcia fondled her breast and nipples on 10 separate occasions. She stated the incidents occurred when she was 11 years old, while Pete Garcia resided at the residence.
If the audio cut earlier, that's because parts of the victim's statement had to be removed. The details are heavy, and they speak for themselves. Sometimes a victim's words carry more weight than any argument in the room. You can hear the long-term impact in the way it's described. Even so, defendants still use every legal avenue available to them, which is their right, but it can feel frustrating when the harm is so clear. Judge Boyd's courtroom has a reputation for being firm, especially in cases involving serious personal harm. Let's see how this plays out from here.
Juvenile Jalissa Leone did tell one of the interviewers, that it never went further than that, but that Pete Garcia told her, quote, "Don't tell your mother," when the incidents occurred. Your Honor, in the PSI, this would be victim number 3, Your Honor, again, with respect to the indecency. When questioned, that victim said, again, victim Jaleesa Leon said, quote, "I want him to take some accountability. I don't want probation for him. I suffer from really bad PTSD now because of this incident. I get scared to go to sleep because I have really bad dreams. I get scared to be alone with certain people because I never know what could happen." And Your Honor, I think the word there that of course sticks out to me from the victim in our case, the indecency, the incident case, I should say, is that accountability. And to kind of in summation, if you will, Your Honor, the final point is when the defendant, speaking to the accountability, when the defendant was questioned about why he feels he should be granted probation, he told them, quote, "I need to continue with the life I was living." Well, the life he was living, Your Honor, caused all of this harm in Bexar County alone, and of course, criminal offenses stretching back over 15 years. When asked, the defendant said, quote, "I don't want to talk about this right now. I wasn't consuming alcohol or drugs on the date of offense." A lack of accountability and wanting to go back to the life he lived, as if somehow not being under the influence of drugs makes any of this conduct okay, Your Honor. The state respectfully believes that this individual is not qualified or suited, again, under the eyes of the state for probation.
All right, defense.
Just briefly, Your Honor, he definitely does take accountability. He does take responsibility for what happened, and he'll be happy to tell you that if you'd like to ask him. But the point
Does he
is that
want to testify?
you want to tell the judge that you're sorry.
Here's the thing, before you begin, if you want to testify, you're going to be placed under oath and the state will have a chance to cross-examine. So do you wish to testify? All right, can you raise your right hand? Excuse me, person in the black jacket. The person in the black jacket, they need to be excused from the courtroom. They're talking to someone in the box. Can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
All right, you can lower your name, lower your hand and state your name for the record.
Pete Garcia.
Well, hold on. I'm gonna ask you some questions, all right? So first off, you know that you've pleaded guilty to the indecency case, right?
Yes.
And then you've taken responsibility also for the credit card theft and the fraud cases, right? For lack of a better term.
Yes. Come 100%. I just want to pay back the restitution.
I'm sorry, you need to speak up.
I just want to give a chance to pay back the restitution, Your Honor. The last 3 years of my life, for once, I have a good paying job. I just signed a 30-year mortgage 8 months ago. My life is finally on track. And, this incident happened in 2016, 2017. 7 years later, it came up. And I do take full responsibility of all my actions. I do.
So let me ask you, when you say all your actions, are you talking about the case that you have pleaded guilty to, the sex offense, for lack of a better term?
Yes.
And you're talking about the cases that the judge will take into consideration? You take responsibility for all that, right?
Yes.
Now let me ask you questions. Now tell the judge, when the prosecutor says go back to the lifestyle or whatever, what did you mean by that?
What I meant was, in the last 3 years, Your Honor, my life has been, me and my spouse, I have been on track. I go out for a month, I come home for a week. I've been doing that for 3 years. I finally, like I said, Your Honor, the life is what I meant was me getting my life back on track, finally living a normal life.
The contrast here is striking. The defendant talks about a stable life, his home, his routine, while the victim continues to deal with the aftermath. Trauma doesn't just disappear because someone says they're sorry in court. It lingers. The prosecutor makes that clear, speaking on the victim's behalf about the fear and lasting impact. Words in a courtroom can't undo damage that's already done. The question is whether the sentence will reflect that reality. Judge Boyd is known for weighing both accountability and long-term consequences carefully. Let's see where she lands.
Now let me ask you, who is your spouse?
Jasmine Manion,
Is she here today?
yes.
I'm going to point out for Your Honor. Sure. Right there in the Under Armour shirt, waving her hand. Okay. And then if you were granted probation, is that where you would go back to live?
Yes.
Okay, and let me ask you, are there minor children in that house?
None.
And you have your own children, right?
Yes, they're grown.
What do you mean by grown? How old's the youngest?
21.
Okay, and do they have children?
Yes, my son does.
Okay, now if the court will order you to have no contact with minor children, is that something that you'll abide by? First off,
Yes.
then second of all, you're going to have all kinds of conditions that you need to abide by, such as the sex offender counseling, maintaining employment, reporting to probation. Are you going to do all that stuff?
100% complete. Yes.
And then where are you going to go back to work?
At Halliburton.
What's that?
It's a oil and gas company.
What do you do there?
I'm a CDL driver. I deliver frac sands.
And if your CDL license is suspended or you lose that, where would you go work at that point? Let's just say.
It's a family member that works there. I would be working as a laborer.
And then now the judge is going to give you, can give you up to 8 years in prison or deferred adjudication for up to 10 years. What are you asking to happen?
Judge, I'm asking for the 10 years and just to give me that chance to pay back this restitution. And I just, for one time, have a normal life. I accept everything that I did. I just want to move forward. I finally have it, and I feel like everything's going to get taken away, but I do accept full responsibility, man. I do. I just want that chance to pay back, give them what they're asking for, the restitution, and just move on with my life.
That's the witness, right?
Right. State.
Just a couple of questions, Your Honor. Were you aware that when the complainant first outcried, the reason the outcry happened when it did is because she was having frequent and violent sexual dreams? Were you aware of that?
No, I have had no contact with them in going on 8 years.
And if she hadn't had such violent dreams, there's reason to believe that she wouldn't have outcried. If she wouldn't have, would you have done something to take accountability for your actions, confess or do other actions or take other actions to take responsibility for the double-digit number of times that there was the touching of the breast with your hands?
I'm sorry, I don't understand.
And I apologize. To put it simply, if she had never outcried, would you have found a way to take accountability for your actions?
If there was something said, then of course, 100% would. I do take accountability for my actions. And like I said, it's been almost 8 years. I have not heard anything until recently. So of course, yes, I 100%.
No further questions, Your Honor.
All right. So I have a question for both parties. With regards to the restitution amounts, one complainant says the restitution amount is $0. Mejia is saying their restitution amount is $15,000, but that $15,000, they're saying that's the money they borrowed, but that the bank reimbursed them.
That was my understanding.
So it appears that the money has been reimbursed. So I understand that there's costs because they borrowed $15,000, but then the bank reimbursed $15,000. Now I can understand maybe he's responsible for the interest on the $15,000, but the court doesn't have the interest amount for that. But, and if I'm wrong in my legal conclusion to this, I don't think he's responsible for the entirety of the $15,000 if the bank, and it appears from what I'm reading, the bank has given him back the $15,000.
Yes, Your Honor. I would agree with that. Absolutely.
So I don't have a restitution amount for that.
There's also discussion about prior legal issues and whether restitution was fully addressed before. Financial accountability can matter, especially in cases involving past wrongdoing. It raises questions about how earlier consequences were handled and whether stronger enforcement might have made a difference. Sentencing is never just about one moment. It often reflects patterns, prior records, and the broader impact. Before the final decision, what do you think is appropriate here? How many years would reflect justice in a case like this?
Yes, Your Honor. I believe that is correct. I see exactly what the court is saying, and yeah, I don't believe there would be any restitution remedy available.
Okay. All right. This is what the court is going to do. The court will deny your application. Does anybody want to speak to the cap? The court is going to find you guilty. Anyone want to speak to the cap of 8 years?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
Well, just Your Honor, we would ask that he, based upon the fact that he has taken responsibility and that he has, done his best to make amends for what he's done, that we ask that you hit somewhere below the cap. And I would leave that up to the court's wise judgment, but I would ask somewhere below the 8 years.
All right. All right, Mr. Garcia, I want to let you know that I read the entirety of the PSI report. I read the police report. And I've seen the ages of the complainant, the age of the complainant in this case. That's an issue for the court. You understand? All right. The court will find you guilty, sentence you to a $1,500 fine, time and money to run concurrent, taking consideration 2023 CR 8852, 2023 CR 8851. There's to be Chapter 62 registration, no contact with the complainant, and either of the cause numbers. The court will sentence you to 8 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served. Going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it?
Yes, true.
All right. Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So off the record, I understand that people have regrets about things that they've done in their past. And sometimes we hope that our past won't come back and bite us, right? Because you moved on with your life. I understand it is you're working. And I know that that job you had was a great job. I know you have the 30-year mortgage. But when offenses and crimes happen, you have to answer for those. And at some point, what we've done catches up with us. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Good luck to you, okay?
8 years. That's the sentence. It's the maximum allowed in this situation. For some, that will feel justified. For others, it may still seem too short given the severity of the harm described. One thing is clear. The victim's decision to speak up played a major role in bringing accountability. Without that, this might never have reached this point. Sentencing can't erase trauma, but it can send a message about responsibility and consequences. What's your take? Was 8 years the right call, or should it have been longer if the law allowed it? Share your thoughts below. And shout out to Times Serve Cortach for finding the clip. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in next one.